Unlike the left, we stand against treating anybody, and I love what Nikki said about this. We don't treat anybody different because of their race or their sex. So we have relegated DEI to the dustbin of history, which is exactly where it belongs. In the United States of America, you don't have to apologize for being white anymore. And if you're an Asian, you don't have to talk around your skin color when you're applying for college, because we judge people based on who they are, not on ethnicity and things they can't control. We don't persecute you for being male, for being straight, for being gay, for being anything. The only thing that we demand is that you be a great American patriot. And if you're that, you're very much on our team.
Vance says America no longer treats people differently based on race or sex, and that DEI belongs in the dustbin of history. Saying Americans are judged only on who they are sounds fair. It sounds aspirational, but it doesn't describe how the country actually functions. The United States has measurable gaps in education, employment, healthcare, and housing that correlate strongly with race and gender. DEI didn't appear because people wanted to shame others. It emerged because equal treatment under the law didn't translate into equal outcomes in real life. Removing those programs doesn't erase inequality. It just removes the tools designed to address it. The claim that Americans were being forced to apologize for being white is emotional framing, not policy analysis. No laws demanded apologies. No institutions required guilt. What many people asked for was acknowledgement that history shaped systems and that those systems still influence opportunity today. Patriotism isn't silence. Patriotism isn't declaring uncomfortable conversations finished. Patriotism is believing a country is strong enough to examine itself honestly. Judging people only on who they are assumes everyone starts from the same place. In reality, opportunity shapes outcomes long before merit is measured.
No one's asking you to apologize for being white. Not a single person is asking that. No one woke up and said, hey, I need to make a white person feel guilty today. What people have asked, and apparently this is hard for some people, specifically the ones that America has to grasp, is that you acknowledge that harm was done and just help make it right. That's literally it. So, JD Vance, when you say that people don't have to apologize for being white anymore, I am genuinely confused because no one was asking that in the first place. We were asking for honesty and responsibility. We were asking for you to participate in course correction. But no one was asking you to apologize for being white. But if you do want to talk about the truth, white Americans on average still hold way more wealth than Black people. Black women are still more likely to die in childbirth. Black communities are still over-policed and underprotected. Housing, education, healthcare. I mean, all of these disparities are very well documented, and they're not opinions. They are facts. So, JD, someone like you have access to the tools to help move those things forward. You have political power, you have social capital, you have proximity to systems that will listen to you. So I don't really understand this whole, you don't have to apologize for being white anymore. See, the question really has never been, do you need to apologize? The question is, are you willing to use your privilege to show up for people who don't have the same access as you? And I'm gonna take a wild hunch that you don't really have any Black people in your life, or you only know Black people who fit into your comfort zone. And if that's the case, then yeah, you might think that we're asking you to apologize for being white, but that's not what's happening. We're asking for empathy and accountability. Being asked to care shouldn't feel like an attack, JD. It's not about shame, it's about responsibility. And those are two very different things.
No one in America is being asked to apologize for being white. The idea keeps circulating because it's politically useful, not because it's true. What many Americans have asked for is accountability, acknowledgement that harm occurred, and participation in fixing systems that still produce unequal results. That's not about guilt, it's about responsibility. The data is clear. White Americans on average hold more wealth than Black Americans. Black women face higher maternal mortality. Certain communities experience higher policing and weaker protection. These aren't opinions, they are documented realities. When political leaders respond to those facts by claiming persecution, it raises an important question. Is the issue confusion or is it resistance to change? Being asked to care is not an attack. Being asked to help is not oppression. And being asked to recognize advantage isn't the same as being accused of wrongdoing. The core question has never been about apologies. The real question is whether Americans with power are willing to use it to improve systems that clearly aren't working for everyone. Here in Canada, we often assume we are immune to these debates. But disparities exist here too. The American conversation is a reminder that ignoring data doesn't make inequality disappear. It just makes it harder to talk about later.
If we want to move America forward and to be Christian nation again, we have to keep the same driving force going forward. And right now, President Trump's successor is Vice President J.D. Vance.
Personally, I don't know if I'm the guy for J.D. Vance. I'm more of a Vivek Ramaswamy kind of guy myself.
On the opening night of Turning Point USA's annual gathering in Phoenix, Erica Kirk, the widow of the group's slain founder, announced that she was endorsing Vice President J.D. Vance for president in 2028, even though he's not even a candidate yet.
We are going to get my husband's friend, J.D. Vance, elected for 48 in the most resounding way possible.
I spoke to attendees here about Kirk's very early endorsement of Vance, and the opinions were mixed.
I don't think we should necessarily focus on that just yet, but I do agree with her. He's a good candidate. We should keep him focused on Trump's presidency right now.
Oh, I like it. I like it a lot. I'm a big J.D. Vance guy. I was big into the Trump regime, and I think he kind of follows that pretty well.
His entire backstory, it's very, it seems very contrived. I think he says things to try and appeal to certain people, and there's a certain level of fakeness there to J.D. Vance.
When you look at what right-wing Zoomers are believing, they believe in Trump's message or further, and I think Vance can really tap into that.
When politicians stop talking about ideas, they often start attacking people. J.D. Vance didn't challenge Jasmine Crockett's policies or voting record. He mocked her appearance and persona. That isn't debate. It's a distraction. Personal attacks usually signal one thing: a lack of substance. When leaders rely on ridicule instead of arguments, they shift attention away from their own contradictions. Vance once positioned himself as a critic of Donald Trump. Today, he closely mirrors Trump's style and messaging. That shift may be strategic, but it raises questions about authenticity. Voters notice inconsistency. And when politics becomes about insults instead of ideas, trust erodes, not just in individuals, but in the system itself. Leadership, let's be clear, leadership isn't about tearing others down. Leadership is about articulating a vision, defending principles, and engaging agreements with contempt. If influence is built on grievance rather than solutions, it doesn't last. As political discourse becomes harsher globally, Canadians should also consider how quickly personal attacks replace policy discussion and how easily democratic norms can erode when spectacle takes over.
So JD Vance also attended Erica Kirk's Turning Point USA AmFest this weekend, and he decides to take the stage and come for Jasmine Crockett by saying, oh, she wants to be a senator. Oh, and her street girl persona is just as fake as her nails. Says the man that wears more mascara than his wife. Says the man that once upon a time he did not even like Trump. Says the man that is clearly bought and paid for. Because what happened to the JD Vance that didn't even like Trump? And these people continue to get up on stage, do interviews, and all they can do is come for someone else, when clearly they don't even have it together themselves. And again, how do people continue to support these people? All they do is get up and do these interviews and stand up on stage and spread hate towards someone else just because they don't agree with them. These are not leaders. JD Vance definitely is not a leader.
JD Vance isn't running for president, but the race to define the future of American conservatism has already begun. Turning Point USA's early endorsement wasn't about policy. It was about succession. It was about identifying a figure who could carry a movement forward once Donald Trump exits the stage. Reactions to that endorsement were mixed. Some see Vance as a natural heir. Others see a candidate carefully constructed to appeal to specific audiences. That tension matters. Modern voters, especially younger ones, are highly attuned to authenticity. They can distinguish between conviction and performance. Saying the right things isn't enough. Credibility depends on consistency. Vance now faces a central challenge, becoming more than an extension of Trumpism. The question is whether he can shape a future or whether he exists primarily to preserve the past. That decision will define his political ceiling.